Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, and today we are going to be talking about retconned Goosebumps stories. If you don't know what retconning means, Google it. Alright, but retconning means, or at least the way we're interpreting it for this video, or the way we mostly mean it in today, is when a story gets contradicted entirely, or just a piece of information from it. We're going to be looking at the more entirely route. Goosebumps stories that basically aren't canon at all because a further piece of information that was given out, and I think all of these have sequels, so yeah, in a later entry of their respective franchises, that completely contradicts their existence. So yeah, these are Goosebumps stories that aren't canon because they have sequels that directly say that didn't happen, or indirectly, or imply that it just wasn't something that actually took place. And Goosebumps is no stranger to retconning. Just look at Slappy. He has so much convoluted lore thanks to all that retconning out of his 20-something books, I think 26, when we don't even know what the hell his real deal is. The only official-ish lore guide we got was literally Slappy Beware, as the only piece of Goosebumps media that really gives us a solid-ish answer to what Slappy's lore is, and it already contradicts a lot of stuff, which it will contradict the story in this video, so we already have some issues there. So I'm going to be very specific here about what I mean by contradicting stories. I mean stories that are entirely just uncanon. So enough rambling, let's just dive in. This is a very infamously retconned Goosebumps story thanks to the existence of Scream of the Haunted Mask, Haunted Mask 2. This entire story never happened. It's basically the truth. Steve Boswell, I believe. Yeah, I got that right. I'm a good boy. He has his own troubling adventure with the Haunted Mask. And whilst I could see this still being canon, like Stine, I have dementia, and I forgot to even explain it really well, what I meant there. It can be canon, because they kind of retcon each other, Haunted Mask 2 and Scream of the Haunted Mask. So you can kind of choose which one is real, but that's besides the point. It's just not, because there's a very certain aspect of the story involving Carly Beth coming into play that completely defies the story's entire existence. And also the time frame doesn't help, because this is the very next Halloween after the Haunted Mask story. And you know what? That doesn't make any sense, because so is Scream of the Haunted Mask. They're on the same fucking night, and there's things just couldn't have happened. It's a huge retcon, and I believe this book is technically uncanon, though I do like it more than Scream of the Haunted Mask, just for the fact that I do like the attempt here to try a new mask. I think it's really cool what we got here, and the aging idea is gross, but this isn't a review. I'm just saying, this one is extremely retconned. It basically didn't happen. Next up, this one is more implied. Return to Horrorland. In the Horrorland series, spoiler alert, making it very clear, not like barbecue chicken alert, no, spoiler alert. When Luke and Lizzie, oh, yeah, I spoiled it, appear in the Horrorland books from the 2008 and whatever run series, kill me, they never mention this visit. And it's not like it didn't possibly happen in the lore, but it just feels like such a big fucking thing to mention if you know, actually return there and you learn a lot more about the park, kind of, and a lot more happens. It's just like, you never mentioned this visit. They never even brought it up that they returned, and it seemed like they implied that they only came there at one time with their parents, and they never returned, which is very weird. I just feel like that kind of means that this story is not canon, which makes a lot of sense, because, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense in itself. The story shouldn't have happened in the first place. Let's just say the main characters, Luke and Lizzie, and Clay, since he's here too, just don't make a very smart decision in this book. And it gets the plot rolling. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, that book technically doesn't exist. But this book kind of exists. It's just a tale from Slappy that he completely made up, because it's a Slappy World book. Yeah, I am Slappy's evil twin. I am, not I am. So, now why did I include this amongst many of the other Slappy books that I could have easily thrown in here? Well, this is coming from Slappy's mouth, and he's probably lying, just straight up. Of course, a lot of these Slappy World stories about him are coming from his mouth, and all of them are, really, so any of them could be fake. But, this one is easily not true, because thanks to Slappy Beware, which is the most solid piece of fiction we have gotten that has actually given us a, straight up answer to Slappy. And it defies a lot of stuff in the intro, to say the least. The intro to this book is a flashback to Slappy's creation and all that. And yeah, it gets entirely retconned, that alone. And it's coming from Slappy again, so he probably made it up either way. And Snappy, let's just say, his twin, they can exist. It just doesn't make sense with the Slappy lore. He really does not exist. So this story is just bullshit. Let alone the likelihood that Slappy would get to go to Hollywood, or wherever it was. Some big city, Los Angeles, Hollywood, I can't remember. Fuck no. Just bullshit. Another notoriously retconned Goosebumps story, thanks to, again, Goosebumps Horrorland, the series, is Deep Trouble 2. This one's basically the same problem with Haunted Mask 2. It takes place during the same time. Of course, this is more ballparky because it could be, after Deep Trouble, or I guess Deep Trouble Creek from the Deep. Because, spoiler alert, I guess that one is a Deep Trouble sequel. It follows Billy and Sheena again. But this is contradicted solely because it takes place during the same summer as that book, Deep Trouble 2. In that they never mention this, and it feels like, and even this, it doesn't mention Creep from the Deep, obviously, because this was made 10 years before that. Stine definitely didn't know Creep from the Deep was on the way, over 10 years from then. So it's like, there's already contradictions in here to Creep from the Deep. So they kind of retcon each other, and it's really up to your interpretation which one is real, since they both take place at the same time. And they say, I think they both say it, we have not been with our uncle, I forgot his name, let me just look here. It doesn't say on the back, I hate my life. But they're back with their uncle for the summer, and this is the first time they've been with him since the, incident in the first book. So it's just a huge contradiction. Personally, I believe Creep from the Deep is canon. Probably just because I like that one more. And now for, funny enough, bringing this thing full circle, retconned Goosebumps story within Horrorland, the series. So that series was doing a lot of retconning itself. Now it's being retconned. This story is a big pile of fucking bullshit. I like it. I actually really like the story. I don't mean anything about its quality, but it's all bull. Never happened. I'm sorry. Except for the Horrorland segment, which is really confusing. Especially since it also carries over the contradictions this story had. Let's just say in the Dr. Maniac sequels, Dr. Maniac, the villain, this guy, ugly ass, is a very well-established comic book figure. In this story, they are created by Robbie Schwartz, who is not a very well-established comic book figure. I'm just going to say that much. Robbie Schwartz made Dr. Maniac. That doesn't make any sense if that is canon to the sequels. Because Dr. Maniac was definitely not made by a 12-year-old and just happened to get super famous. It just does not make any sense if that is at all canon. Yeah, this story, huge bullshit, and I think Robbie made it up. And it also doesn't make a lot of sense since Dr. Maniac is in the Horrorland series outside of this book. And it's just it's a mess, right? It's really a mess of lore retcons that the Goosebumps Horrorland series sadly has to endure, because technically Dr. Maniac shouldn't even be there because Robbie didn't make him. It just doesn't make any sense. Or as I like to interpret it, at least, if they aren't canon, then those are their own universe with the other Dr. Maniac books. Plural, yes, there's 2 more after this. And yeah, those are the biggest retcon Goosebumps stories out there. These things never happened, or they're a bunch of hoopla from someone's mouth. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me if I missed any down below, and share your thoughts on them, if you will. Tell me which ones you think are the canon ones, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.